The different locations of measures, they include the central location and also the non-central location. So I'm not gonna dwell much on the definitions, just that the definitions, you just know, you just have to know the difference, right, between the two. Our aim is to know how you're going to do the calculations, not the definitions. So the definitions, you're gonna study them at your own time. Yes, they can ask you the definitions maybe in the exam. So it's very much important to know them. So a central location is a statistic, is a single number that gives a sense of concentration of data, values in a sample. Né? This is a central location statistic. So we're having three common measures in a central location. We're talking about the mean, the mode, and also the median. We all know the mode, I mean the mean, we're talking about um, the average of your data set. Then we also know the mode. The mode is the number which appears more frequently in your data set. Then your median. Your median is the number which is in the middle of your data set. Né? Then we're having the non-central location measures. So with the non-central location measures, that's where we're going to talk about the quartiles, the percentiles, and also the decimals. Okay. So these are the three examples of the non-central location measures. So they can ask you these questions. It's very much important to know them. So it's your responsibility to go and revise these concepts because they're very much important and they're also part of your exam. So these are the three central location measures. We already talked. I mean, we already introduced them. So in all those measures, either the central locations or the non-central locations, we're going to determine them in either the two types of data. We all know that we're having an ungrouped data versus a grouped data. These are the two types of the data, either ungrouped data or the grouped data. So this is an example of an ungrouped data. How do you identify whether this data is grouped or ungrouped? The ungrouped data, you just see it like the numbers that you are given, you will be given, they are not divided or they're not given into the classes. Okay, if you can check these numbers, they're just randomly given to you. Like you're having 22, you're having 13, you're having 16, 42, 26, 77. So these numbers are not grouped. By just looking at them, they are not grouped. But when we're going to the second table, you see this table, we are having the number of classes 1, 2, 3. They already told us number of classes. We're also having the class limits from 265 up until 320. We're expecting how many frequencies? From 320 to 375, we're also expecting how many frequencies? So this will be our grouped data. automatically our data is grouped into different classes. You see, so there's a huge difference between our first data, which is ungrouped, and also this kind of data. So you can be able to identify which one is grouped and which one is ungrouped. Yeah? Okay, so now we're going to look at the ungrouped data. Starting with our central locations measures. Remember, our central location measures were having the mean, the mode, and the median, whereas the non-central location measures were having the quartiles, the percentiles, and the decimals. And all these measures, they are found both in ungrouped data, or you can even find them in the grouped data. Meaning all those measures, actually, let's say 6 of them, regardless of what kind of the measures, né? At the end of the day, you're going to calculate all of them, all 6 of them. There are 6 because it's 3 this side and 3 the other side. Just that you're going to calculate them using the two different data, which is ungrouped data and group data, because their formulas won't be the same. You won't use the same formulas. Okay. So now we're going to start looking at the ungrouped data. The central location measures, meaning we're going to start with these ones, the mean. What is the mean? The mean, we said that it is the value which lies at the center of the set of the data values. It can also be called an average value, which lies at the center, at the center of the data set. A mean is just an average value. Yeah? So the formula for the mean, we say that x bar equals to the summation of xi divided by the n. The summation of xi is just the sum of all the observations. Meaning if you are given the number, or given 1, or given 2, or given 3, or given 4 or 5. Let me do it like this. Okay, let's say we're going to use this data set. We're having 20, we're having 15, we're having 12, we're having 11, we're having 5, we're having 13, we're having 7, then we're having 3. Then okay, what we can do firstly, in order for us to make things easy, we can just put them in order. Né? You can just start by saying 3, 7, and then sorry, it will come 5. It will come at 5, then 5, then 7, then 11, then 11, then 12, then 30, then 15, then 20. So now you can see that our data set is now in ascending order, right?
The folding of hands, poverty will step on you like a thief in the night.
Guys, can you please switch off your mic so that we don't disturb each other? Please switch off your mic. Especially those who just joined the session now, make sure that your mic is off. Do you still see my screen where I'm writing?
Yes, okay.
Okay. So we are asked to calculate maybe the mean, right? X bar will be equals to the summation of what? The summation of xi divided by n. X bar divided by n. Then it will be equals to. So with the summation, you are going to add all those values that are in your data set. Then you're going to say 3 plus 5, 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 15 plus 20. So I get 86. I get 86 over. Then the n is the number of observations. Is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Meaning we're having 8 observations. Then your answer would be equals to what? Then you say 86 divided by 8. Then I get 10 comma 75. Before decimal places, you can just say 7500, no? Like this. Yeah. Because normally most of the answers they are in 4 decimal places. So you just say 10 comma 7500. So I hope you all understand. Then meaning now we managed to answer to calculate the mean. So now everyone follows the concept of calculating a mean. Even here they're still telling us about the mean. Even here they just tell us about the advantages. You should also go through them at your own time. So now we are having what is called the mode. A mode or the modal value. A mode we said that is the most frequently occurring value in the sample of n data values. meaning this is the number which appears most frequently as compared to other values in your data set. So we are just going to go and look at our what? Look here, we were calculating the mean. Here we were calculating the mean, right? Then now they asked us to calculate the modes. So we are going to go back to our data set and look the number which appears there or the value which appears more frequently. So according to our data set, we don't have any number which appears most frequently. So you're just going to write 0 because you don't have any number which appears more frequently. So we're just going to write 0, just like that. You don't have to panic when you're going to choose 0. That's your answer because you don't have anything there which appears most frequently. So your answer is 0. And the other thing is, I forgot the important part is the interpretation part. Yeah. With the mean, when you're going to interpret, you're going to say that depending on your statement, because we normally we interpret according to the definitions of these measures, right? So you're going to say the average mean of your data set is 10,7500. That's how you interpret because the mean is the what? This is the average, right? So you're going to say the average mean of the data set equals to 10,755. I mean 10,7500. Simple as that. With the mode, you're going to say that from the data set, there is no number which appears most frequently in the data set because we are having 0. So you're going to tell us that there is no number which appears most frequently according to the data set. Okay, so that's how we are going to interpret. Then we move on. Um, so under the mode, we're having 3 categories. We said that the mode is the value that occurs with the greatest frequency, right? Meaning if we're having a greatest frequency, normally in the frequency, we are talking about it when we are going to do the what the grouped data. Yeah? So in a grouped data, the only difference with between the group data and ungrouped data is that in the group data, you're going to check the number which occurs with the greatest frequency. Whenever we see the greatest frequency or the highest frequency, meaning that is our mode, it tells us that that number occurs most frequent as compared to other values, right? But with our ungrouped data, we just look at the number which appears the most, yeah? Which appears most frequently in our data set. Mostly if the number is repeated, maybe we're having 3 and 3, but the rest they are not repeated. So meaning 3 will be our mode since it appears most frequently. Okay. So, but with our group data, we're going to check where we're having the greatest frequency value. So if we're having a highest frequency, meaning that will tell us that this is our mode. Okay. So they are divided into 3 parts. We're having the bimodal. Bimodal is the two data values occurring with the same greatest frequency. Meaning it might happen that in our data set, we find two values which they occur most frequently. Let's say we're having 3 and 3 and also 7 and 7 in our data set. So that will tell us that we are going to expect two modes because these two values they occur, they both occur most frequently, right? So you're just going to write them the way they are. 3 and 7, they are our values which occur most frequently in our data set. Agree that's what you get. Even when you get you don't get any mode from a data set, we write 0. You should not be ashamed of writing 0. So even in this case, when you're having two modes, just going to write 3, then comma, then 7. Those are your two modes. So we're going to we're going to tell us that those are the bimodal. They can ask you what type of modes, ne? So they are called bimodal since they are two. Bi means two. Two data values occur with the same greatest frequency. So 3 and 7 will be our bimodal. Ne? Then with the multimodal, more than two data values occur with the greatest frequency. Meaning in this case, we're going to have more than two modes. Let's say even 5 join 3 and 7. 3 and 3, 7 and 7, and also having 5 and 5. So we're just going to write 3, comma 7 and 5. So those will be our 3 modes, right? Because they are more than two, we're going to call them the multimodal. There are more than two data values occur with the same greatest frequency. Okay. And lastly, the last one is no mode. No mode is just what we done not so long, né? Whereby we say it's 0. So no mode, no value, no data value is repeated. So someone asked, will I be wrong if I say no mode? No, you won't be wrong. That's correct. You can just write 0 and then into brackets you say no mode. We are not having any mode. So none of our data value is repeated. Okay. So that's what you must do. I hope you all understand, right? So you can see this is the example. Here they're having a mode of 1,10. Here they're having the two modes of 27 and 55. So they call them the bimodal because they are two. If it happens that 88 also appeared for the third time, we would say that 27, 55 and 88. Then it will give us multimodal. because they are more than 2. Then in this case 1, 2, 3 up until 10, we don't have any value which is repeated. So hence we are having no mode. Okay, so I believe we are done with the mode. Now we are moving to the median. Median is basically a middle number of an ordered set of data which divides our data into 2 equal halves. The median is a data value or a numerical random variable which divides our ordered data set into 2 equal halves, meaning the value that we are going to find from our data set, it will be a value which divides our data set into 2 equal halves. So in a median, in order for you to identify a median, you don't just wake up and say we are going to look for a median. A median is determined by checking the position. When someone is saying the position of something, the position is just an indication of um, where can we identify a certain element. So in order for you to identify that certain element, we should firstly find the position. Hence, we cannot just decide on our own that this is our median without checking the position. So the positioning is very much important. Né? So there are some of the conditions, if you can check here. They are saying that the first condition is if n, we all know what is n, right? This is the number of observations. If n is odd, the word odd, we all know the odd numbers. Odd numbers, we're talking about 1, 3, 5, and 7, and so forth. So if n is odd, the median is found in the n plus 1 divided by 2, close brackets, nth ordered position. Point number 2, if n is even numbers, we are talking about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so forth. The median is found by identifying the what? The n divided by 2 data value and averaging it with the next consecutive data value. Okay, so now we're going to use our data set again for the median. Né? So now we are on the median. So firstly, we need to check our position, right? So we need to identify whether our n is it even or is it odd. So according to the what we have, is our data set even or odd? Looking at the n, is it even or odd? Okay, it's even, right? Thank you very much. um so if it's even, meaning we are going to say n divided by 2, then the nth, ne? We're going to use this position to determine the, sorry, our value in our data set. So our n, we are saying that it's what? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Meaning we're having 8 as our n, then divided by 2. Then 8 divided by 2 is equals to 4. So most students, they make mistake when it comes to this, because they think that, like, after calculating their position like this, they think this is their answer. You are not yet done. After finding the position, that's why you are still going to find your exact value of your median. You are not yet done, right? So meaning we should expect our mean around the position 4. This is the position, okay? We're expecting it at position number 4. So, but they said that after we have find our position, né? After we have find our position, you must average it with the next consecutive value. I hope it makes sense. You must average it with the next consecutive value. So if you can check, you are having, you go to position number 4, is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then they say you must average it with the next consecutive value. So already at position number 4, we're having 11. So can you tell me what you are going to do right now? What is the next step we are going to take? And even our final answer.